So last night I did something that first and foremost, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm gonna put this on the Facebook and the YouTube channel. I might put it on IGTV too. But like and subscribe to the YouTube Contract Fortune YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe. So last night I did something different. And this is real brief because I got a subject that I want to get to, but I just randomly went to my Facebook Messenger and I just scrolled through. It was like Wheel of Fortune, and I picked names, and I just would push the button for a video chat, and I got to see a lot of faces and a lot of smiles, and have a couple of conversations with folks I hadn't had conversations with in years. So no worries if you didn't pick up the phone. Trust me, I'm a repeat offender. I think I'm going to do this on a regular basis. But to everybody who I spoke with last night, it was so beautiful to talk to you, and I appreciate you giving me your time and just allowing me to talk to you. And I hope that I was able to give some positive vibes to you listening to what it was. You just never know what people are going through, good or bad. With that said, contracting internationally is something that a lot of times people don't really delve into because they get nervous because it's something that they have to deal with internationally, especially if you're dealing with something that's in a war zone. I've been on things in Afghanistan. I've been on things in Africa. I've been on things in South America, and some I've won, some I didn't. The thing I tell you is this: the market for international contracting is large. You got to realize there's a U.S. embassy, and I want to say this correctly because I didn't do my fact check on this, but I think there's a U.S. embassy in every country, and that's United States soil. So whenever they request something, it could be something that they request that's large, or it could be something that's requested that's small. Some places request equipment such as trucks, pillowcases, food. I won't say food because food probably they can deal with over there or whatever country they're in. But equipment, like I said, vehicles, military bases. That's U.S. soil. So especially like weapons contracts, and don't look for the giant weapons contracts if you're gonna get into dealing with weaponry, because no matter what, those big contracts are still gonna go to the big dogs. So it's a market that's really untouched. And the thing I recommend, the tips that I give you if you're going to do international contracting, because again, if you want to see any of my operations, all you got to do is scroll through the Contract Fortune Instagram page, and you can see that I was there in some of the places that I'm talking about. And you want to have money set aside to travel to those places. If you're going to do a procurement, right, try to do the procurement in the state that you live. Then that way you can visually inspect what it is that you're about to send off. Even though that can be kind of touchy because sometimes you might have to order some equipment like from Under Armour. Under Armour's in Baltimore. You might want to actually go to Under Armour and make sure that the order is right before you send it. You don't necessarily have to travel to that country to inspect whatever the item is that you're going to be procuring. But you might want to travel to the state or to the manufacturer of where that item is, produced. Then that way you can make sure that the order is right. The thing with dealing with international contracting is you need to make sure that you execute it to a T, because it's going to cost a lot of money to ship. Now, I do logistics. I'm in logistics. So that's kind of what my NACS codes are, what my wheel well is in terms of what it is that I do. But I make sure that all T's are crossed and I's are dotted, because it can come back to haunt you if you don't make sure that everything is double check, triple check, quadruple check. Sometimes, my business partner would get upset with me because I would check things over and over and over and over again. And sometimes I would quadruple check and still something would be unleft. If you feel something in your gut, like I need to check that, then go check it, because it all comes down to CYA. Everything is CYA when it comes to government contracting. So don't let international contracts pass you by. Don't be afraid to bid on them. Make sure that you bid a competitive price, but bid enough so that you can handle any emergency that comes up. Now, granted, you're not going to get paid until after the contract is, after the operation is complete. But you still want to make sure that you build enough into the operation to protect yourself. I think that's one thing you want to make sure of. Also, when you're purchasing some things you can't purchase in the United States. Some things like equipment, tractor, like for instance, like the truck I talk about all the time that we were doing for Africa, it was coming from an Asian country. There are certain trade laws, like international trade laws, that you need to make sure what countries can trade with what countries and what laws and embargoes or what is what in every country, and make sure that you can get it out of the port. There's nothing worse than something getting stuck in the port because you didn't follow or read all the countries necessarily, their laws for importing from certain countries. So that was just a quick tip to help you when it comes to international contracting. When you see a contract or a solicitation on those prime contracting websites and you see that it's international, don't stray away from it. The only thing I'll say is, one, make sure that you possibly have enough money to travel internationally. Make sure you get your passport. If you don't have your passport, make sure you get your passport. Make sure that you have enough money to travel to the location. If if just to be sure and safe, make sure you CYA on all of it. Make sure you CYA on all of it. But don't stray away from it, because you're leaving a lot of money on the table and possibly something that could potentially change your life in terms of the what's the word I'm looking for? God doggone, profit margin. It'll be a huge profit margin, because a lot of these international solicitations, they know people don't want to deal with it. They know people want to deal with stuff that's right in their backyard. So don't be afraid to stretch out. That was one thing that with Apex we weren't afraid to do, is stretch out and reach for things that necessarily weren't, something that was going to challenge. I like challenges. So something that's going to challenge me is always welcome. And, we reached for challenges and things that could potentially be bigger and yield bigger profits. So don't stray away from international. Go for international solicitations. Just be sure you know what you're doing and that you can cover it. And get cool with the procurement officers. Make sure you're cool with your procurement officers. And you should be all right if you're doing international freight. So with that said, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate everybody that comes through and likes and subscribes to the Contract Fortune YouTube channel. And all my Facebook friends who I popped up on last night. That was so dope. Like, honestly, that was so dope. And I appreciate everybody that picked up. And you know what I mean? Like I said, thank you for listening to me. And thank you for the support and the love that you gave, just to make sure that I'm clear and that you guys know, it's not like I'm some, John Norman's mega boss. I'm still building it. You know what I mean? I'm still building it. Like, it's still being built. I have good days and bad days too. And the thing that we are here for each other for is to uplift each other. If you are out there trying, like I said, I'm cheering for you to win. We all got stresses and struggles that we're dealing with. And I'm just cheering for everybody to win. I want everybody to win, whether we like each other or you don't like me, whether, what did I say? I wish you well because you my brother and you my sister. Whether you love or dislike me, I wish well for everybody. So have a great weekend. Do something great. Don't just live for the weekend. All of that. Have a great weekend.